Hi everyone, welcome to CritCast for Assignment 3, Part 1. I think that CritViz is a little weird right now, and I want to talk through some things and tell you what I'm going to do. I think the numbers here, so some of you, like Jarrett, got 1 review, and Kihan got, 7. So there's something glitchy going on in CritViz, and so I feel like it's not really accurately reflecting your opinions on the work. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the reviews because I reviewed a lot of people, Christopher, Jarrett, Gerand, Olivia, um, who else? And Andy and Alicia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post all of their reviews for all of you to look through. I actually found that the work that I saw was really strong. I'm actually really excited about what I see going on. But I want to go over some basic things too that I see kind of consistently happening. Although I do have to say you guys are a varied group, and I'm relatively strong. So anyway, so I will post all of those and make them available to you guys so that you can see, as you would in a normal class where everybody listens to each other's critique, because I think that there's some really useful things to do. Before we go, I want to talk a little bit, really briefly, about some of you I think know about smiling pictures and why they're a little bit problematic, and some of you still are having issues with color balance, so pay attention to that. I think a lot of you have found out that it's actually quite difficult to photograph people. I think I'd urge you guys to stay away from the goofy kind of Facebooky pictures. That part of this class is to get you to this place where you can make pictures that have a little bit more depth and meaning. It's hard to get your subjects to relax too, and I think some of you are making discoveries with that. So anyway, it's difficult to photograph people. One thing I'd ask everybody to do is to go through your work and think about the picture, maybe pick 1 or 2 that you really feel like surprised you, or you made a discovery, or that you're really proud of. Because I'm asking you to submit 10, and I don't expect that every picture is going to be good. I want you to make careful choices. I want you to take enough pictures so that you can put 10 up that you feel okay about, right? And by the end of the semester, when you're going to have to put together a portfolio, in that case, I want you to feel good about every single picture. So thinking about that, but thinking about what picture excites you, or what picture you feel really kind of proud of, or what picture makes you want to take the next picture. Those are some questions you should be asking yourself when you look at your own work, maybe a couple days after you've submitted it, thinking about how to take your work to the next level. Because essentially that's the goal of this class, right? You're all at kind of different places and different levels. And my goal in this class is to get you to push yourself and to develop and to learn the skills to really make your work better and stronger. And that said, I think that there's a lot you can learn from looking at each other, and there's a lot you can learn from thinking about what is meaningful and what works for you. And that just doesn't mean, oh, it's my opinion, it's okay. I mean, there's this like relationship between some subjective things, some more and less subjective aspects. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over a couple of the assignments that I didn't go over as personal reviews this term. So I'm going to start with Kihan Lee's work, which I find in general to be quite strong. I feel like it's got I wish that little thing would go away. It's definitely got a bent towards fashion. There's something quite graphic and striking about it. And I'm really excited. Technically, there are a few things that a lot of you are having issues with, which is this blasted out white and details in the shadows. And that is one of those things that has to do with how you shoot it, the lighting when you photograph it, your camera settings, but also there are things that you'll later be able to affect in Photoshop. So for those of you who are using Photoshop, watch the tutorials and see how you can work to bring out detail in the black and detail in the white. And it'll make the picture richer and more interesting and, you know, just more accomplished. The other thing that's going on with this picture is the color is a little bit yellow, and skin tones are really hard. Everyone's skin tone is different. And hopefully you all listen to the film, the thing about how film is color balanced and biased towards a particular kind of pretty much white skin. It continues to be true with digital a little bit. So if you're shooting anyone who's not just like normal, boring white person, you are going to have to consider a little bit of how to adjust it and just be in consideration of that. Sometimes it's hard to photograph a normal, boring white person too. Anyway, so here we have, again, you can see the blasted out corner is a little bit distracting. I'd like to get a little closer with this picture. But I think in general, she's chosen a really interesting backdrop, and it's kind of got this gritty, isolated feeling. So she's in the middle. So I think this was a nice, interesting shot, and it has a very kind of almost staged studio feel, but then it also has this kind of urban edginess to it. So again, this one, I would say some of the same issues with the first one. There's there's darks. I would like detail in, and when you're taking pictures in the sun, that's going to happen. So you're going to have to start figuring out how to bring out detail, but also the tonality of being like yellowish red. So work on cleaning up the color balance. For those of you who can shoot in raw, and then adjust in camera raw, you can do that. Pay attention to your white balance, and just keep working at it. This one's got the colors is relatively strong. It's quite strong. I think you can see, as some of you have had this issue too, that when you shoot with a total white back, you get a little bit. See how the face is a little faint. It's hard because you're fighting against the camera's reading all this light, and it's having to filter out that light to read the information on the face and the body. Really try not to shoot portraits against white backgrounds. It's just, for the most part, I mean, white backdrop is different than like light being blasted out behind you. So really consider that. Consider how that adds a kind of tension and takes the viewer's eye away. And a couple other things to pay attention to here. I'm going to make it small. No, not bigger. Yes. I'm wondering what the function of this is, this brick wall it's kind of distracting. I think the sweep of the red is really nice. But again, this brick wall is distracting me a little bit. And then this black in here is just like sucking my eye. So my eye is going here to the black, and then it's going to the sky. But really, the most interesting is this sweeping, what the picture really wants to do is take me on this sweeping journey with the scarf cape to her face. But I'm being distracted by the black here, the white here, and the brick wall here. Again, nice. I'd love this to be bigger. I'd love it to see a little bit more detail. And then this one has this feel of this like flash at night fashion shoot, and it's interesting. I think that light, the balance for the color's okay, so that's relatively strong. As is this one. I think they're good portraits. And then this one feels like a catalog. It feels like she's modeling something in a catalog. And then this one, I think there's some loss in the dark. I'd say illuminating that a little bit better. It's a little bit more relaxed gesture. Although her face is so made up, she looks like it looks theatrical, but then the expression isn't theatrical. So that's interesting to me. And then this one looks again, kind of like a fashion model shoot, and the expression is kind of a little bit sultry. But again, I'm really distracted by the blasted out white and the black. If you look at the tonality in the bricks, that's really just about perfect. But the problem with this picture is it looks like it's like cut up, and I'm not able to focus on the subject or the face or the gesture. And the gesture of her hand is really quite nice. So overall, I think that your assignment shows a lot of promise and potential. I think there's some technical challenges, and then I think there's some conceptual things about, okay, so now what do you do? Like what are you trying to say with these pictures? What is happening? And this is where I want you to go back and look at the pictures and think about which ones are the most interesting to you, which ones are really exciting you the most, and then I would suggest you build on those. I mean, I don't know if you want to do portraits for the final assignment, but when you go back and do portraits, and I think you should. I mean, I think you definitely have an eye and you seem interested in it, but I think now you're ready to think about working on these technical aspects and figuring out why do I want to look at this? Why do I want other people to look at this? What do these pictures mean together? Okay.